Hey, hey, hey. So it's Catherine. This is my Sunday Grief Inspired Live. So I'm here on Facebook, but I do save all of these videos obviously to YouTube, so you can find me on Grief Inspired on my YouTube channel. And as you can see, I am not in my normal surroundings. So I am in the beautiful red rocks of St. George, Utah. I'm gonna see if I can do this without sunglasses so that you can see me. Although, as you can see, it's super duper sunny here, but the weather is fantastic. And so I wanted you to be able to come out with me and be able to see this. And I figure we'll walk a little bit and I'll talk to you. And you can enjoy the scenery along with me. So thoughts on walking through grief. I think that, this week has been an interesting time for me personally. I came to, this is the Red Mountain Resort and Spa. These are our rooms. These are villas. And I've come here. So I found this place. This is in St. George, Utah. And I needed a place to come. And I'm really fortunate that I found this place. And so I continue to come back here because it's so healing for me. And so the first time I was here was back in 2009 after my first miscarriage. And my sisters were super sweet and they wanted to do something and they wanted to take me somewhere. And I said, well, I want to go somewhere healthy. I want to be healthy. I want to feel healthy. I want to be healthy. I want to try to get healthy again because I wanted to have another baby. And so they found this place, and this place is like immensely healing and really had everything that I needed. So the day here starts with walks in nature. They're guided hikes, so you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to think about it. You just follow your guide and they take you on these amazing walks. And you'll see in the background that there are remnants from a volcano that has left its traces 30,000 years ago. That's what the black is. That's what's so cool. So we do a lot of vacationing here, and I come as often as I can. This is for my 50th birthday, so I'm turning 50 next month. And so my sisters were super sweet to bring me again, so I'm super excited about that. But every time I had a loss, I came here. And not only when I had a loss. So I've come here multiple times. One, like I said, right after my miscarriage. And then after I lost my son Jackson, there were 2 times we went to Cancun because I just had to get away and had to go somewhere. And I did a video recently on vacationing and how vacationing can be really good for grief. And I got some interesting comments on it, and so I want to address those so that if those same people are watching, so that they know that I am responding and that I hear you. I have been very fortunate. I have been fortunate to be able to pack my bags and get away. And if you can do that, I find it to be a very, very therapeutic thing to do when you're grieving. If you can get out in nature, if you can go for a walk, if you can take yourself out of your normal environment, out of your normal routine, getting away, so to speak. And it's a bit of unplugging. I think that that's a good thing. And I think that that's something that I want to encourage you to do. And I've had several people comment, that, well, that would be nice, but I can't afford it. Yes, I know that I have been very fortunate and able to go and do this and have the financial wherewithal to do this. But I think that the messaging is to get out anywhere. Take yourself out of your normal environment, even if it's going on a hike for a day. If it's taking yourself out of your normal environment and spending a day or 2 days finding nature, whatever that happens to be. No matter where you live, there is nature, right? So if you live in a city, get out of the city. Go to a place that's remote. Go to a place that's quiet. where you can just sit and think and be with nature. Nature has here, I'm learning about the spiritual nature of healing. I mean, people, I have a religious background, right? I'm Catholic. I was raised Catholic, but there is a spirit in nature that I'm learning about, that I'm learning to embrace, because cultures for hundreds of thousands of years have done these things, right? And have gone to nature to look within and to figure out what's going on. And, I have so many different people who seriously have lost so much, and have lost loved ones, have lost spouses. And I want to be really transparent, because I haven't lost a spouse. I haven't lost my parents. I don't know what it feels like to go through the pain of losing my mother, to go through the pain of losing my father. And when I think about it, it makes me want to cry, but I haven't gone through that. So I don't want to pretend to know that I know what that's like. What I do know is grief. What I do know is what it's like to step outside of grief. What I do know is what it means to go through grief, to walk through grief, to not let grief overwhelm me, to not let grief turn me into a victim, to not let grief destroy me, because it can. And no matter who you're grieving, whether it is a wife or a parent or a child, it's hard. And so I think that the reason why I do these videos is to let you all know that there's a way through. And I want to give you hope that there is a way through. But it does require work. It requires work. It requires a lot of work. It requires educating yourself. What is grief? What does that mean for me? It's about looking at new perspectives, new things that maybe you need to open your eyes to, that just might help, right? We were talking this week, and there's so many people who are on anxiety meds because life is anxiety provoking. And I understand that, because I was there too. But what I do know is that there is a path out of anxiety. I know that there's a path out of guilt. I know that there is a path to forgiveness. I know that there are things that you can try, and not every one thing is going to work for one person. But what I try to do is build an arsenal of things that you can try. And that's what I try to talk about here. And I try to post about on my Facebook group, because there are things that you can do, and I want you to feel empowered and not feel like it's something that's all consuming, that you are at the mercy of. Right? So what are those things? Well, I mean, I talk all the time. There are things that will support you, that will encourage you, that you might not have tried. And maybe if you just did try, if you spent a few moments, maybe something would work. Things like, try journaling. Write down what you're feeling, whether it be written, video journaling, like what I'm doing now. And maybe this is just for you and not going live on Facebook, but maybe it's just writing down or talking to your camera, right? And capturing some moments and saying, this is what's going on with me today. And it's very therapeutic to get it out and to record it and to be able to go back later and to see how far that you've come. Other things, nature, getting out in nature. What does that look like? Going just for a simple walk. You don't have to hike. It doesn't have to be, something big and spectacular. It can be the most basic thing. Just go for a walk and be out here and look and see if you can find an animal to look at. It's healing. How about, and these are all the things that I've done. I've done a lot of personal development work. That's the looking within. Who are you? Why are you here? Asking yourself the questions, what do I value more than anything? What's really important to me? What do I want for the life that I have now? because your life is different than it once was. If you lost a spouse, well, you had plans, and those plans, you don't have those plans anymore. But that's okay. So what do you do now? And it's spending time contemplating, what do you do now? What do you do now that you don't have them? What can you do now to honor them? How can they show up in your world? How can you let other people know what they meant to you? What about sitting in meditation? Can you sit in meditation? Have you tried that? And there's so many people who say, well, I just can't meditate. Meditation's not for me. It's because you haven't tried. It's because you haven't spent enough time. It's a practice. And as somebody who suffered from a lot of anxiety, trying to sit still is no freaking joke. But the fact that you can't do it means that you probably should, right? So spend time learning how to sit still. Do a walking meditation so that you can actually continue to move, but be in a meditative kind of place. Go within. Buying a set of headphones and putting on a meditation and having them go directly into your ears and blocking out everything else in your world is miraculous. And if you haven't tried it, do it. Right? There's a lot of people who find getting healthy to be very therapeutic. Exercising, paying attention to what you're putting in your body. Because the reality is like, maybe try eliminating caffeine. Maybe try drinking more water. These are all things that are going to support you. They're going to help you heal. Like, the reason why you hear all these things is because they work. And so I can't tell you exactly what's going to happen to help you get through your grief. But what I can tell you is that I have an arsenal of things that you can try. Essential oils have dramatically changed my life. This week I went to see a shamanic energy healer, right? So there's a whole spiritual culture around shamanic culture, right? And they talk about guides and angels and archangels and spiritual guides and animal guides. They tell me that like the Pegasus could be an animal guide of mine, a spiritual animal, because they're grounded, right? It's a horse with wings is Pegasus, right? And they're grounded and they want to be on the ground, and I need to be grounded. As a person, I know I need to be grounded, but they have wings. They have wings so they can fly to the heavens and they can soar above and they can see things in a more holistic way. That's what a Pegasus is. That's what's important to me, right? But learning things about what are your chakras, learning, essential oils, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Learn something new every day. Learn something about yourself, learn something about the world. These are the things that heal you. These are the things that are really important, that bring meaning into your life. And my God, the thing that's so crazy when you lose the people you love, you got to look at what's important in your life, right? And it butts up against you and you have no choice. I mean, you can spend time all you want trying to block it out and trying to just walk around saying, I'm okay. Yeah, I'm grieving, but I'm okay. You can do that. But it's going to come at you and it's going to fester. And you'll start getting sick if you don't grieve. You'll get sick. It'll turn into cancer. It'll turn into something else. I've seen it happen, and I know that it does. Stress and anxiety and pain and struggle, all of it, it turns into sickness, and we don't want that for you. So what does that mean for you? My question for you today is, as you walk through your own grief, as you walk with me, if you watch my videos, as you're walking through grief, what are you sensing? What are you feeling? What do you need to do? What's something that you need to try that's been going on in the back of your head, and you've had that little voice that sometimes tells you what you want to do, the voice that you haven't been listening to? What if you were to listen to that voice today? What would it tell you, and what would you do, and what would that look like? You know, here I am, I'm 50 years old, and I'm back in this place again, and I'm back because I have 2 embryos that I just went through an IVF cycle because I want to expand my family, because I want to have another child. And this is a place of healing, and I came here partly too, I didn't know, but today the reason why I'm here is because there's a certain amount of surrender. I've created the embryos, and I don't know how good they are. I don't know that I'm gonna have a baby a year from now. I might have a baby a year from now, and I might not. And we don't always know how our life is gonna go. And we can try to do what we can to align our life and make our life go in the way we want it to go, but it doesn't always go that way. But you still have to try, and you still have to hope, and that's why I'm here, is to say, you know what, I'm giving it a try, and I'm giving it a go, and I'm walking through my grief and the fact that I've created these embryos, and if something goes wrong with them, I've already decided I want to have another baby. And so if it doesn't work out, guess what? More grief. I will grieve if these babies are not okay, if these embryos are not okay. I will grieve. But I know how to do it now. I have an arsenal of tools. I know how to walk through grief. And that's why I do this, is because we just have to be able to walk through our grief. And you have to be able to stay on the path and look at this path. Look at this path behind me. You just have to stay on the path. And you might not know where this path goes. And it might not go where you want it to go. But the path is there. And you're going to figure it out as you go. Moment. Give yourself a break. Take a moment to be able to breathe. Just breathe. And just look at what is around you in the moment. Being present. Being mindful is the term now. Slowing life down enough to unplug. Unplug, no matter where that is a way to heal. Because when you start to unplug, the things that are really important come up. The things that you need to look at, the things that you need to evaluate, the things that you haven't addressed, they start to show up. And in my opinion, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. But again, I want to make it very clear, I am not perfect, and I know the grief that I know. And I want to share what I share, what I've been through with you. If I'm a little further along in my grief, then I want to support you in yours. Because I know that you can come out the other side. And I'll tell you what, when I was early in my grief, I didn't know I could come out the other side. And I do these videos because I want you to have hope, and I want you to know that you can come out the other side, and that there is more. And that just because you've lost someone that you love, and it hurts, it doesn't mean that you're giving up happiness. You can hurt, and you can find joy, and it's the miracle that is this life that we live and the time that we have here. And it can all commingle, and you can laugh and you can cry in the same day. And you can cry for what you've lost. And you can have immense gratitude for what you still have, or what you had, or what you can remember, or who you've become. It all works in concert, and it's all together. And it's all part of this amazing, amazing backdrop. Whatever your backdrop happens to be, this happens to be mine today, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful, and I'm blessed, and I know it. But I found this place, and I choose to come back, and I'm here because I wanted to be here. And I said, I need to do what it takes to get me here. And I'm I'm so thankful and I'm so grateful to be here. So if you're part of my tribe, if you're part of who watches me on Grief Inspired on my YouTube channel, thank you. Thank you for being here. Let me know what you need. Let me know how I can help. I do this more for you than I do for me, although I will say, I talked to you about getting this stuff out and talking it out, and that's what I do here, and it's beautiful and it's healing. So the more you can talk about whatever's going on with you, whomever you've lost, how you're struggling, getting it out, talking it out, working it out, thinking it out, it's part of the work and you need to do it, and you'll be so glad that you did. So thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the scenery here. It's amazing. It's magnificent. Again, this is St. George, Utah. This is the Red Mountain Resort and Spa. You can see everything's red. And I'm going to go back at it. I'm going to do a little more resting, a little more relaxation, a little more contemplating, and being grateful to still be alive, to still be in the game, and to still be growing and learning, and to still be perfectly imperfect. Because I think that's how we all are, perfectly imperfect. Enjoy your day wherever you are. Again, thank you. Please like, comment, share with someone who you know maybe needs to hear this message today. And we'll talk to you soon.